Hello, and welcome to the Jesus and a Cup of Joe podcast, the show that brings you a conversation about Jesus, the Bible, and life. Here is your host, Royce Bottoms.
Hey, I want to welcome all of you to the show. Thank you for joining me today. Is there something going on right now in your life that's causing an affliction, some kind of hurt or pain, and you're not sure what to do? You're in the middle of something, you can't see your way out. Do you believe that God can get you through it and make you fruitful in the middle of your affliction and can bless you? That's what I want to discuss today. I want to look at the Old Testament and look at the life of Joseph, which is an amazing story. It's the kind of story that dreams are built on. After many unexpected twists and turns and 13 years of toil and affliction, Joseph was blessed by God in an unimaginable way. As a result, he became the second most powerful man in Egypt. So as we look at the three afflictions that Joseph went through between the ages of 17 and 30, we see how God made him fruitful in every stage that he went through. How he became Pharaoh's top executive and Egypt's highest civil servant. And it all started when he was 17 years old. Now, when you go to Genesis chapter 37, this is the part of the story where Joseph's brothers take revenge on him because of their envy and rejected him through betrayal. It's all because of the favor status that Jacob placed on Joseph over the other sons. This favor included making Joseph a special coat of many colors and using him to spy on his brother. Joseph's status now was being the favorite son. To make matters worse, Joseph began to share his visions, his dreams, to where one day he would rule over the entire family. The envy and hatred that was simmering in the hearts of his brothers had now reached a boiling point. And then they started to plot to kill him. But instead of killing him, they placed him into a cistern, into a well, and they eventually sold him off to the Midianite merchants as a slave, which in turn sold Joseph again to Egypt, to Potiphar, which was the captain of the Pharaoh's guards. Because of his brother's rejection and betrayal, Joseph had lost all of the rights. He was now a slave, and one can only imagine the pain and loneliness this young man was going through. It is certain that he would have been treated harshly, maybe viciously, by the slave traders. God, however, was with Joseph and gave him favor with Potiphar, who began to see a unique faith, wisdom, and skill in this young slave he possessed. So Joseph's status changed from the favorite son to the favorite slave. As a result, Potiphar put Joseph in charge of his entire household and everything that he owned. God, in turn, blessed Potiphar's household in abundance because of Joseph. Similarity, even in our own afflictions, God can still make us blessings to others. Joseph's status changed even further, being moved from the favorite son to the favorite slave to Potiphar's favorite executive. God had made him fruitful through rejection. Rejection is always painful, especially when it comes from someone we love or someone we've helped. You may be going through rejection right now in your marriage, in your workplace, with your friends, and the pain is unbearable. But God can get us through that only if we believe in him. Let's also not forget the skills that Joseph developed in Potiphar's house were more or less what he needed later to rescue Egypt and the surrounding nations. God teaches us a valuable lesson and enhances our skill in the midst of rejection and afflictions. Joseph began to prosper in Potiphar's household, and a new and serious challenge was starting to build up because Potiphar's wife was attracted to Joseph and it tried to seduce him. Eventually, she would try to trap him in that compromising situation, but Joseph ran away because he did not want to hurt God and he did not want to hurt Potiphar. But as a result, Potiphar's wife falsely accused him of trying to molest her. In result, Potiphar throwed Joseph into prison. Now, while Joseph was in prison, he began to find favor with the prison warden, who made him the chief administrator and management of operations and labor control in the prison. Joseph's status changed once again because now, if you look at it, he went from a favorite son to a favorite slave to a favorite executive, now to the favorite prisoner. He became fruitful through the afflictions of the false accusations from Potiphar's wife. As the story continues, the king's chief cupbearer and chief baker were also thrown in the same prison that Joseph was in. Under Joseph's influence, Joseph helped interpret their dreams. And they all pledged to help Joseph. But sadly, the cupbearer, the chief cupbearer, once he got out, he forgot who Joseph was. So Joseph had to stay in prison for 2 more years. However, Joseph learned to be fruitful through the afflictions of being forgotten. Now you can see right now the life right now of this young man, everything that he's been through. Where his brothers attempted to kill him, sold him off into slavery. He became a top executive for Potiphar. And then he was falsely accused, thrown in prison. And then he interpreted the dreams. And not only did the baker and the cupbearer promise to remember him when he got out, but the baker was executed, just like Joseph predicted. But the cupbearer forgot about him. So thankfully, Pharaoh was having some bad dreams 2 years later, and none of his wise men could interpret the dreams. But the chief cupbearer remembered Joseph. And as a result, he recommended Joseph to attempt to interpret the dreams to the king. While most of us search for the right contacts and the right influences, it's ultimately God that puts us where he needs us and puts people in our path. Now, after Joseph interprets the dreams for the king, he's released from prison and he's promoted to the second highest position in Egypt at the age of 30. He's also assigned a huge task for saving the nation of Egypt and the surrounding world from famine, which was about to break out. Joseph handled the task with perfection, and in the process, he was used by God to bring restoration to the family and to also save the nation of Israel. Joseph's status changed once again from being the favorite son, favorite slave, favorite executive to the favorite prisoner, now being the favorite diplomat. So to close, where did Joseph acquire the skills that he needed for this massive operation? It was during the 13 years he spent in Potiphar's house and in prison as he faced afflictions of rejection, falsely accused, and being forgotten. As he mentioned to his brothers in Genesis 50:20, "You intend to harm me, but God intends it to be good to accomplish what is now being done to save many lives." Do you know God can do the same for you and me and truly make our lives fruitful through affliction? So as we just looked at this young man, Joseph, and everything that he went through from 17 to 30, became the second highest ranking person in Egypt and saved nations. But he never lost sight of God, and God never forgot him. Through everything that he went through, he clinged on knowing that God was for him and that nobody could be against him. Even through everything that he went through prisons and through slavery, through all of this, Joseph came out on the other side because it was God's will and it was God's plan. So if he can do that for Joseph, what could he do for you? What is it that you're going through right now that all you need to do is turn it over to God? It's easy to take our eyes off what's important because of our situation that we're in. Can you believe for the God of Joseph can come through for you in your most time of need? I want to thank all of you for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed this episode and this message. And I hope and pray whatever affliction that you're going through right now, whatever is in your way that you're going through, I hope and pray that you just turn it over to God and allow God to work through your lives. So as always, you start your day with Jesus and a cup of Joe. God bless.